9 times the speed of sound.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2. I bought this broken S4 with a manual transmission as a swap donor for this broken S4 with an automatic transmission. However, this broken S4 seems to run, sort of, so it may be repairable. Now, to figure that out, we have to get it off the trailer, try and figure out why the fuel pump's not running, and get it in headquarters, put it up on the lift, and figure out what else is wrong with it, seeing as this car has sat around for quite a bit and perhaps needs a lot more work than I'm imagining. But regardless, this one is gonna follow suit. So as soon as I'm done with this one's going in the garage. All right, let's get it off the trailer. Now, if you remember in episode 1, the fuel pump wasn't running on this thing. I have no idea whether it's a fuse, whether it's a relay, maybe it's a software thing. But I can't open up the driver's door until the car gets off the trailer. So I have to jerry-rig the fuel pump, hopefully put the car in gear, hopefully get the car off the trailer, and then we can troubleshoot the fuel pump. All right? Yeah, you guys think this will start? Yeah, I have no idea what these blinking lights are for. Oh god, this place is disgusting. Alright, so will this run? Oh, there we go. All right, before I dive into troubleshooting the fuel pump, this is the little rigging situation that I did. Now, these are smart boosters, so if you don't have any battery, they'll never work. Like, you need a little bit of charging your battery for it to start. So there's actually a bypass, sort of like a safety bypass. If you hold the I button for a while, you'll actually turn on to a positive, negative, regardless of the situation. So that's what I've done, because obviously there's nothing on the fuel pump. I just need power supply. So they can be used, even though it seems like they can't, but they can be used to provide power in a pinch. Now we'll shut this off. Before we get into the rest of the car, just wanted to show you, everything's pretty rough. Unfortunately, these are not my favorite seats. The Alcantara gets completely destroyed. Although the boosters are not horrible, it can probably be recovered. If somebody knows what they're doing, they can probably swap the inserts out. But I personally hate these. Look at the driver's seat. It's pretty disgusting. Now, I mentioned last time for the constantly on emergency lights. I'm not sure what that's about. Aside from being pretty dirty, obviously broken, glove box, they all have it. Worn out, buttons all over the place. It's pretty rough. The back isn't horrendous, but I think the guy had a dog in this car, and the dog's kind of destroyed the rest of the seats. The back seats are usually pretty good condition regardless of the fronts, but these things are pretty dirty. I suppose they could be washed, but who cares? And on the driver's side, yeah, like I said, that's pretty rough. Not too happy about that. This thing just actually fell in my lap as I was pulling. I'm not really sure what's going on here, why this is like that, but I have to open it anyways. So that's what we're dealing with. Let's start poking around here. see if we can figure out where the fuel pump fuse, relay, and try to figure out why it's actually not starting. Oh, cool thing, I actually got another switch from the junkyard the other day, so I'm just gonna swap this out. All right, according to this manual, fuel pump is fuse 28, which is third from the bottom. All right, well, that's easy. You know, sometimes diagnostics are a bit hard, but probably not in this case. So the third position from the bottom is where the fuel pump fuse is. It's not here. And frankly, it's a bit strange. Like, why would the fuse not be here? That's a little odd. Let's get this thing out of the way here. Might make it a little bit easier to fix stuff. The interior is gonna need some love anyways. So this isn't broken, so we'll try and keep it like that. There we go. All right, so we've got some loose cables here. We'll have to figure that out. I don't see a fuse anywhere. I'm a bit curious as to why that would have been removed. It'd be pretty funny if I put the fuse in the car, like caught on fire or something. All right, let's go find a fuse. There we go. Nice 20 amp fuse. Let's pop it in here. All right. All right. What did I do here? Get these guys out of here. We disconnect everything from this, and we just plug it back in. Oh, I think we've got fuel, guys. Well, that's one problem solved. Before I bring the car in the garage, just want to give it a very quick rinse so we can maybe have a little better look at the body and the exterior condition. I'm not trying to detail this. Frankly, I don't think there's a purpose in detailing this at all. I think it's a pretty rough exterior, but I just want to see sort of how bad it is. Okay, let's see what we're working with here. So, sure, let's start here. The paint is pretty rough, kind of scratches and blemishes all over the place. Door trim here is about to fall off. Looks like there's rust underneath there. We've got some rust poking here, and obvious rust at the bottom of the door here that somebody has painted on over. Same thing with the fenders, stone chips everywhere. Rims are pretty rough. I wouldn't keep those anyways. They're not a huge fan of these ones, to be honest with you. I know there's folks out there that love the original S4s. I'm not a fan. Stone chips everywhere. Pretty sure headlights are not original. They certainly don't look original. Bumper's a bit rough. These are like wood screws holding the trim together, so I'm guessing either this was in a front end collision of some sorts or just a rough life. Bumper's cracked here and here. I think pretty sure this is gonna fall off if I push really hard. More damage. Same thing on this side. This stuff's pretty busted. Screws everywhere. Right, so this is gonna have to get sorted out. Now, unfortunate part is that these aren't going to be super easy to find where I'm at. They're really not at the junkyard, so I can try and source some of this stuff out, maybe online. We'll see. More stone chips and scratches. Grill here is pretty busted. Not too bad at the top here. Generally, you get some stone chips at the top, but this looks pretty good. More rust on the bottom of the door here. Again, somebody fixed it up. Not horrible. That's all right. Now this caught my attention when I saw it last time. For some unknown reason, the tail light is sticking out. and I'm wondering if somebody took it out for whatever reason, maybe to replace bulbs or whatever, and just didn't know how to put it back in. So this is gonna get fixed up. Rear bumper, more issues, cracked. Exhaust, I already showed you, was missing in the previous episode. But other than that, it's really not horrible. I mean, it's not horrendous. In the engine bay, the shock is busted. That's normal. I'm guessing some mice or whatever try to live in here. You've got debris all over the place. That's been kind of chewed up on. Other than that, not that bad, guys. Seriously. So now that we've got the fuel pump running, why don't we get this on the lift and have a look underneath? Shocks look original. Unfortunately, control arms look original. I don't see any cracks on them. Oh, no, correction. They're not in very good condition. Suspension is not really all that great. Brakes seem like they've been replaced, but obviously the car has been sitting around, so they need to be cleaned up. In the back, same story. Shocks original. So this is at 200,000 kilometers. So yeah, these are pretty old. Rear brakes still have some life in them, but looking pretty rough. The calipers are apparently new. The previous owner painted them, but I'm gonna have to take them off and clean them up a little bit. Control arms, everything looks rusty as you would for a Canadian car. No leaking here from the diff. I already mentioned the exhaust is more or less non-existent. Yeah, this is good craftsmanship, let's put it that way. Right, and this one's falling apart. Now this is the original exhaust. It looks like it's already being repaired a few times. Jesus. So there, and at the front, actually, right there. What the heck is going on here? Are these aftermarket cats? It's a little weird. Okay, hang on. So this would be the stock exhaust. So why is it welded and cut? Anyways, we are totally missing the downpipe from this side. No, so that's the cats there. Does he have two cats? Yeah, I guess he has a front and a back. All right, so the right side, and I knew that previous owner has taken the cat off. So we can reattach that, that's fine. One of the O2s is disconnected. We've got some oil leaking from over here. Subframe, I don't know why he gave me another one. This one doesn't look horrible. I've got some rust, but I mean, it's pretty normal for a Canadian car. And really, other than that, I mean, there's not much. Oh yeah, I didn't notice this. So looks like they screwed up the lift point here on this side. The rest of it looks all right, but certainly the right side has been squished in. Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a beater obviously here. It's not a pristine car, but so far engine wise, nothing too concerning. All right, we're gonna stop here. So to summarize, interior is trashed, exterior so-so. The front bumper has seen better days. As far as mechanical goes, the suspension probably needs to be done from scratch. Exhaust is non-existing, so I'm probably looking at two downpipes with the cats with the back. So I don't know if I can find an original second-hand exhaust, which would save me quite a bit of money, because you're talking about a couple $1,000s for a full exhaust. And that's assuming there's nothing mechanically wrong with the engine, which I don't know for a fact yet. So the car runs Clearly it's missing sensors, so I'm going to start fixing it in episode one by one. But assuming the engine's fine, we're talking about, let's say, about $2,000 for suspension, maybe about $2,000 for exhaust. Now, for a car that I bought for $1,300, that's a little much. So I'm going to have to decide whether I want to restore this or I want to just, put it back on the road and maybe flip it for a couple of $1,000s worth of profit and just don't bother with the rest of it. So in the next episode, we're going to start fixing some of these problems, starting off with electrical issues. Still a few lights on the dash, they're not engine related, so I'm going to try and figure out, if maybe there's a fuse is missing or whatever. God only knows what the previous owner has done to this. I need to make sure the engine is okay before I go and spend any money on anything else. So most importantly, I'm going to have to make sure that runs well and it doesn't have any synchronization codes. In other words, no timing chain jobs are required. The transmission shifted fine. The car drove, brakes are fine as you saw. So if we can get the engine running, maybe the exhaust sorted out, I may just leave the suspension as is and try and flip the car or just drive it around. More or less it's in beater state, but obviously it's still pretty cool. It's a 4.2 liter manual V8. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you like what you see, click the thumbs up. If you want to follow along, click subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. And I'll see you guys next time.